Good afternoon, y'all. Um, can you tell that I sound tired? Oh man, a little bit. Yeah. I'm not even kidding, y'all. I slept at like 5 a.m. I don't know what it is, but I think I finally um are you going until the trial starts or something? Not sure how far you got. I think we got up until like the we're on the way to the what's the name? Like the we're revisiting the crime scene. That's that's how far we are. Yeah, part of me wanted to push the stream back like a day after, but at the same time I realized that if I do that, that's like another day that I like push back the Ryoshu Kanto. So... I can't afford to do that. Oh man. Yeah, that does come out tonight. The only thing is right now is that I'm probably just gonna be like what's the name? Close up this thing. Game capture here. Hopefully it's capturing the capture of Cusco. There we go. Now it's yeah. Like literally once thing is done, like once the maintenance is done, I'm literally just gonna like speed run like the Mira dungeon. Just so I can get the levels up and stuff, because apparently it's releasing like a day before the weekly set. So I won't be losing out on any like loons here or stuff like that. High roller mode. And then we'll again have to do like the I might just have to mute everything Lobos related because for our project we finished, so I don't give a fuck about spoilers. Hopefully volume is fine for y'all. I saw that in the hotfixes. They're still trying to investigate the volume reset for this game. Yeah, I'm a little worried about getting spoiled, but at the same time, what's the face? I can just blame it on Taco or something. and when I brought this up to them, I think what was it they said? Right, kill yourself. Yeah. Once more into the depths. Hopefully the volume is fine. I think that's like the second time I said it. My mind's like short-circuiting. I'm probably gonna have a debuff in my reading comprehension. But I went down to the lower wards last night. I knew what I wanted to find, but I wasn't sure where to look. Now I know where to look, but I have multiple priorities to consider. It'd be nice if I can prove Sosuke's innocent. It won't be easy given that they think he killed a cop. But it would keep me on Igorio's good side. That'd be nice. But what is essential is that I figure out what the hell happened after I left. And whether anyone found any trace that I was ever there. Everything else is secondary. Sorry. I guess I should have asked before I'd say we'd be sharing a cab. I don't mind. But I am surprised. Did budget got to take away your shiny patrol car? Patrol cars are shared, counselor. Any cop can step into any other's cop car, sync their credentials, and drive. Convenient. Shame you can't personalize. Yeah. No more dice in the mirror. Is that why we're in a cab then? Personal taste? Police cars are full of bugs. Thought you might appreciate the privacy. Autocabs are full of bugs too. True, but there are ways around them. Are there? I didn't know that. Yeah, plenty. It'd be easy as flashing a police badge. Something you want to discuss in private, detective? Oh. Okay. I didn't know you were all rocking like that. I was asked to get in contact with you and pass along a message. A secret admirer? Certain interested parties and all that. You know how it is. I'm not sure I do. Does this have something to do with my client's business affiliations? There would be a lot more blustering if I were to repeat it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase. Focus on getting the best outcome for your client. More of a reminder of what my job description is than a warning. And don't broaden the scope of your investigation any more than strictly necessary. Well, I always appreciate the kind words of advice. But Detective London, that almost makes it sound like you're on the tape. That's the city, Tiger. If you don't take a little, they'll bury you. Alive, if need be. Oh, they will? How conspiratorial. Not a joke, Morgan. Do they threaten your wife with Tommy guns if you don't comply? He has a wife? Got more sophisticated than that. Well, maybe sophisticated isn't the right word. Complicated might be more accurate. Or you could just call it a quagmire. Or even a shitstorm. Can't get along to go along, even other cops won't trust you. You'll end up shot in the back. Friendly fire. A tragic news clipping. You're exaggerating. You're telling me the entire police force is corrupt? What? What? Corruption would be one thing. You could, in theory, root it out. But above and below the canopy, it's all intertwined. Every tree stabilizing every other tree. What do they call that? Oh, parasitism. I mean, symbiosis? Mentalism. That's a new one. Mentalism. Oh, okay. There you go. The state pays criminal informers to rat on their peers and let them keep their positions in exchange. Orcas buy judges and politicians to keep their men out of prison. Status quo. Balancing act. A cycle. Stable as any gyroscope. Forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Crime is at an all-time low. That's not a contradiction. People hate crime. What gets people killed is chaos. And the opposite of organized crime is everyone's playing nice with each other. Even Detective Reyes. She's she's new blood. Either she's gonna turn her badge in like the next month, or she's gonna die on duty. What about the man they think my client killed? Play nice? He was a special case. You got the brief. You recognize the last name? It's a big city. I don't put too much stock into last names. You'll need to break that habit if you continue to work in the underworld. Someone from the server named Eggman just randomly sent me a for real. Oh, a friend request. Wait, there's a person named Eggman? Oh, there is. Also, he talked in the server before, and it says he's in his bio. He says he's 17. By the way, actually, hashtag rule breaker. Oh shit. Yeah, we're gonna put him on the la criatura. La criatura. Sosuke said something similar. Tarek Chopin, only son of Miguel and Dominic Chopin. Oh wow, you look hard ass. Likes 24/7 views, calligraphy, late dinners. Likes gray hairs, untucked shirts, and mint. Mint? I suppose. Fucking top chud. Education, Bachelor of Science in Applied Philosophy, and what, you just ended up a cop? Awarded senatorial commendation of bravery posthumous. Survived by fathers Miguel and Dominic Chopin, City Council. Okay. The power couple? Why would the son of two of our city's most prominent council members be working as a police officer? Want the full story? Always. So who was this Chopin, really? An idealist. Wrong line of work, then. You're only half right. When he entered the academy, everyone assumed it was a political move. First step in his career to becoming a senator or whatever. Maybe he was, but anyone who met the guy could tell you he would have made a lousy politician. That's not a disqualifier, London. You're saying he was honest? He wouldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. Guy couldn't do small talk, much less make friends. Talking about cleaning up the city, cleaning up the police, cleaning up everything. He was so unpopular, why was he kept on? No one on the force wanted to risk insulting his parents by firing him. This got passed around from department to department, detail to detail. He did a lot of community outreach. Outreach? What, like bake sales? Like giving talks at schools about saying no to drugs until you turn 21. Must have really left his job to put up with that. Or he just wanted to prove a point that bad. Don't you try to save lower ward patrols for the more seasoned, better armed officers? We do, yeah. How'd you know that? Like going to the lower wards and looking at the cops you send there, of course. I read about it in the Watch magazine last month. Oh. If Chopin was the son of such powerful men, why did he end up in the lower wards last night? With that, I don't know. You don't know? By all accounts, he and his partner should have been at least 2 patrols removed from that area. Must have been following up on some other lead. Where is his buddy cop? His partner. Who's that? The hero who finally arrested the Hound of Ikaria. That's who. I'll have to send him a congratulatory fruit basket. Dewey Rogers. A pretty bare bones record, but maybe that'll just add to his legend. What legend? Taking your client alive. Whacked him on the head with a sidearm. Knocked him out cold. Yes, it is a small. Sosuke wasn't just not dead if they thought you killed him. Maybe, but it wasn't pure luck. The only thing that did stick out to me and Rogers' record was his shooting score. 41. Out of 100. You need 40 to pass. Oh. I think so. Took pity on him when tallying up a score. So he only whacked Sasuke, sorry, Sasuke on the head because he was too bad at a shot to avenge his partner? At least Raj just knows the weaknesses. I keep hearing that name. The Hound of Ikaria. I cringe every time. No one actually calls him that, right? Sorry, but I've definitely heard that name circulating around organized crime before. Must be one hell of a bodyguard to earn a nickname for it. The bodyguard? Yeah, must be pretty good. Of course, hound dogs are known for other things, besides guarding. Sorry, that was, rude. Uh, is this a sex joke, London? Don't be sorry. I don't even get enough to I don't even get enough of the joke to be Okay, that'll make for some interesting food for thought. But Detective London, you are working for the Blue Bloods. I never said I work for the Blue Bloods. It's more of a gig worker type thing, Tiger. I'm friends with everybody. You are working for the mob in general, then how do I know you can take me to the right place and not to... Whoa, whoa. You pass the message along here and there, but I'm not... Damn. No one else is either. Whatever you're imagining, it's not that exciting, I promise. Not that excited. Sounds about right. Is it like this in every city? Handshakes and gentlemen's agreements behind closed doors? You're disillusioned? The state has a great deal of power to detect them. It makes countless rules. Now, I'm a big girl. I know that those rules don't apply to people equally. And I understand the value of criminal informants and the possible conflicts of interest that arise in trying to keep them around. What I don't get is why the state has all this strength, and it won't use it just to wipe the underworld off the map. That's pretty cold logic. I'd expect my state to be far colder. Hey, you ever heard this one? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss are sitting at a round table with a gun in the middle. Who are you betting on? The CEO looks at a loaded gun and sees the bullets in the clip as an inventory that needs moving. Plus, they're used to taking a job and setting up their golden parachute before anything else. I thought they'd walk into that room without first planning how they're getting out of it. Fair enough. CEOs only get the job in the first place by convincing their board they can navigate high stakes. But it's a trick question, of course. Rock, paper, scissors has no trump card. A politician can bring the heavy arm of the law down onto the mob boss if he doesn't shoot the CEO for him. The mob boss can have the CEO's family killed if he doesn't blow away the politician first. And the CEO can turbocharge the campaign of whomever the politician's opponent is if he refuses to miss the mob boss. Yeah, seems like he could make the argument to go in the other direction too. He could. The point of the riddle meant is just this. Whoever convinces someone else to pull the trigger comes out on top. Funny. So in the parable you've set up, the gun on the table, but that's the police? A blameless tool with no will of its own? Yeah. Thought it was older men than I who set it up. Didn't realize the country's police were so powerless. However do you manage? We used to have a partner that helped us out. A tiebreaker. As all three of those powerful men would be screwed if a journalist told the world they were meeting together. I've got good news for you, Detective. Journalists still exist. I can introduce you to one. You can even take a photograph. Oh, I know they're not extinct. People will always write. It's just that no one wants to pay them to. Let's be honest, Soul Hackers 2, the code of sci-fi medium clears up the devil. How much playtime do I have in that game? Let's see right now. 12 hours. Yeah. Yeah. Should tell you all. Should tell you all you need to know about Soul Hackers 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk so much. Coincidentally, London also did a Soul Hackers 2 reference right there. Maybe it's nerves. I'm coming back down here. What happened the last time he visited? Something up? Didn't put you to sleep, did I? No. Actually, your 3C table reminded me of an even older thought experiment. If God is omnipotent, why does he allow the existence of the devil? We're just doing everything this stream. Before the trial even starts. Even I know that one. To preserve free will or whatever, right? Yeah, that's the answer most people give. Now I'm wondering if it isn't a rock, paper, scissors deadlock like the one you just described. God lets the devil be, so he'll terrify man, and man will always need God's warm protection. And God needs man's faith, which can't be compelled. Of course, most people also say that God's long dead in the 21st century, but we're still around. That leaves the devil in an awfully strong position, doesn't it? I always picture 3 men in that room. Huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Sorry. Do 55 feminist rosaries for your penance. Detective London. Hmm? We're definitely not alone down here. But when you reassured your partner that we'd have company, I didn't think you were including blue bloods. Uh, you know, I knew I'd forgotten to mention. What? Oh, then she's a liar, babe. Because I never said that. No, I never said that. Hello? Fidget Tubbies? Nice? Come on, babe. That's what she's like. She lies for fun. Because that's what I call you, babe. It's a pet name. You like it. Don't hang up. Don't hang up, baby. Don't hang up. Of course I do. We gotta get to work on. I'll have to call you back, babe. Something just came up. London. What is this? Okay, no bra either? London. Who is this? Counselor Morgan. This is Adelaide Hahn. She's, well... She's a blue blood. Hey, I'm a perfectly legitimate career woman. You're speaking to a scientist security site manager. If you need anything amiss, please don't hesitate to reach out. Adelaide Hahn's business card. Here is a site manager at Scientist Security. A known front for the Blue Blood criminal organization. Includes her personal contact number on top of work details. So messy. A real business card? It even has a watermark. Stop. Oh, god damn it, Morgan. I'm not familiar with Sinus. We're a private security and investigating firm. We provide bouncers, armed escorts, we catch cheating partners, find runaway debtors, run paternity tests, that kind of stuff. Sinus Security is a trusted partner in your business, offering a suite of private security services including but not limited to bodyguards, convoys, bouncers, private investigators, paternity tests, family history research, and shipping insurance. There are a few questions about your needs and we'll... Fuck you and your corpo shit. Sorry, but have we met somewhere? No, it can't be. I'd never forget a beauty like you. suit too. What the hell? She's the Hound lawyer, Han. Seriously? She works for these copper-headed scumbags? So we're mortal enemies? That sucks. Another life then, eh? But I'll still play nice if you will. Likes new furniture, still clothes, dimples. Dislikes clingy types, jealous types, needles. Plays pickup games. Avoids laundry day. Yeah, I can tell. His favorite chore, throwing out dead flowers. Right. So you're private security and you're currently securing this crime scene? Yeah? Well, what's with the tone? What you're hearing is genuine bewilderment. London, why are the police letting blue bloods contaminate the crime scene where a cop died? Come on. We don't have cooties. If this wasn't the location where a cop died, we'd have already turned full control over to them. What? The police contract out the security around crime scenes to private companies all the time. And around here, the private company best suited for the job happened to be scientists. Letting them conduct their own side investigations is a small concession to keep the peace. A small concession? They're probably in there destroying evidence as we speak. We have the arcs to preserve the crime scene. They could burn the building down if we still have a pristine copy. The London Bridge is just trying to save face. The police can keep this crime scene off limits without our help, and he knows it. Gremlins would be smashing their shiny cameras and popping their expensive tires around the clock if we weren't there. If we weren't here. Low-word kids take out drones by tossing shoes at them for fun. That way you see shoes hanging off wires? No, I don't know why that happens. It's just a thing teens have always done for fun. It's resolved? Fine. Maybe the cops and the blue bloods are all consummate professionals who would never even bicker. What kind of impartiality can I expect coming here again? Well, you might have some. Oh, keep left. Well, you might have some ugly looks from those with less chivalry, but no one's gonna get in your way. We know how defense attorneys operate. We know damn well how you usually win. No one's gonna do anything that'll let you warm the hound out of his life sentence on the technicality. Sure you wouldn't prefer that? To have him back out in the street so you can take another shot at him? Oh, so flattery. That's how you flirt? What does that mean? You think we'd ever manage to gun down the hound if he could get in the street? Shank him in a holding cell? Blue Bloods took him alive just fine the other day, didn't they? Yeah. Look what happened to them afterwards. They won't tamper with the crime scene just because you want to make sure the state lobotomizes Sosuke for quintuple homicide. Yeah. I mean, we also literally get paid good money to do these kind of jobs, so we have a reputation to maintain. Rate us 5 stars when you... Rate us 5 stars when you're done looking around, okay? I'll be sure to leave a glowing review. Oh. So this is the main entrance? Front door looks about as heavy as I remember, but... unlocked. What's that? How's the store found? Chopin and Rogers were the first officers on the scene. Responded to gunfire. Someone heard that? I think I cleaned up fast. Check the area, then enter through the front door. The door was definitely locked when I arrived. It didn't lock it behind me on the left. I didn't have any keys. Admiring our handiwork? This is a sinus installation. Who else would Blue Bloods trust to secure Blue Blood buildings? How does it lock? You never used a key before? I want to know how the lock functions. Does it lock behind you automatically? That's a good question. You looking to buy? Because I can set you up. It is a good question, Han. Why don't you answer? Yeah, this bottle locks behind you by default. You need a key to get in if someone doesn't unlock it for you from inside. A physical key? The physical keys can't be hacked. Or overridden by a police badge. Some people consider those useful features. Is that why the door's ajar? Looks like the lock's been destroyed. Was it found like this? Yeah, for as long as the ark's been set up. Oh. Okay. It definitely was unlocked when me and Reyes arrived, which was around 10:20 p.m. Hang on, you and Reyes. Were you the second officer on scene? That's right. We weren't far when the 1099, or when the 10999 went out at 10:15. That can't be an efficient way to call it, though. Okay, yeah. Long way from precinct 254, isn't it? But we were in the area. Awkward. You want the tour then? Actually, I'd like to check out the alley first. You know crime scene's on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, but it has a window that opens up to the alley, doesn't it? I just prefer to start from the bottom and work my way up sometimes. Sure, you can start there. Just be careful where you step, if you like those boots at all. Oh! An article as evidence? Deary me. Let's see it then. I'm probably blue bloods and cops running the security. I don't know who to blame for leaving their shit here. I'll give them more high ground to whichever part of society looks at pick up after themselves first. Panic abandoned last week on campus when the computer labs at North Technica University were set ablaze in the early hours of the morning. Students and faculty skirted the campus in anxious, hunched postures as federal agents descended on the lab's vicinity searching for signs that could point to a culprit. But as of today, the fire has officially been ruled an accident, successfully traced back to a cooling system failure. The basement's main server hub, a freak accident that has provided the simultaneous relief and confusion to the community. When the fire was first reported on, many reports have pointed out its similarities to other fires and bombings recently reported this week in news across the nation. Dubbed by some members as the press of the press as a work of the Witch of the West, each instance appears to have targeted data infrastructure, hitting state, corporate, and academic nerve centers, and leaving hundreds of significant financial grief in the aftermath. Hundreds of thousands of files related to student death, all of it non-recoverable, said one anonymous cybersecurity specialist after the students' registry records went up in literal smoke. Hell yeah? We're reaching out to alumni as quickly as we can to try and piece our records back together. Nope. Nuh-uh. But frankly, a lot of them have been less used. And we may have no choice but to re-examine payment plans for our current students' tuition. Federal investigative officials have no formal comments at this time, but some local law enforcement officers have described seeing federal agents frustrated with the so-called witch. Criticism of the response has begun to surface from the political realm, with Senator Colt now formally calling for the director of investigations to testify as to the progress of, or lack thereof, in the search for the serial arsonist, and other notable. Hey, we don't seem to have your ID in our database. If you fill out a simple form for us, we can get you the rest of this article, along with a ton of cool offers and limited time sales, sort of exclusively to a compliment ID. Thank you. I feel like I've heard stories about bombing this West the last few months. I didn't know they'd all be attributed to one person, or that they're now calling them the Witch of the West. There's no mention of victims. The only data centers being targeted. But clearly this witch is hitting someone where it hurts if they've now got. Was it feds? I'm pretty sure it was feds, right? Oh, whoops, What really stands out here is that the federal investigators are getting involved. Most national security agents were absorbed in the military police complex decades ago. That bureau survived, but it's a mere fraction of the size it used to be, and very different in its function. Their modern reputation is that of attack dog, deployed by the Senate to make examples of the political target. I can't say I like the idea of them being out there hunting serial offenders. It was much darker than last night than it is now, and I only took a quick peek. But even so, this looks like it's been moved, huh? Yes. Trash picked up last night, perhaps? Checking the model number on the side. It looks like the dumpsters of this make haven't been picked up by the city in a decade. I didn't realize there was DRM on trash cans. Hey, it's a heavy model. Tough to lift. Even if its wheels weren't broken. Designed for containing industrial waste? How it ended up here in a residential district is, isn't that hard to puzzle out, isn't it? It was cheaper for the megs to dump their shit on us than it was to haul it to a landfill. Now I can see markings on the ground there? From leaks? Aw, you really are a tourist, aren't you? Been lower worse before. But only at night, right? Rain's dirty down here. Stains the ground wherever it falls. Acid rain. Like from the history books? Not quite that bad. Just smog combined with precipitation combined with the charms of the city to make. Dirty rain, like I said. Lower Ward's spring water. It's a shot named after it. Tequila and pickle juice. Ugh. So is the dumpster empty? Let's see. Hey, grab a glove if you're gonna... Yeah, it's mostly empty. Except for a bunch of scrap metal at the bottom. This is why I can't get to it. I can't get it to budge. Careful. You get your throat trapped in there. Don't look at me to help you just because I'm mopping. Are you saying you couldn't budge it either? I could if a girl was cheering me on. Alright, alright. Okay, London, thanks. Don't know what I was expecting to find, really. Just watch it so you don't... Let the lid slam. An industrial dumpster found in the alley just next to the crime scene. Incredibly heavy, yet still shows signs of having been moved recently. Oh. The lid makes a very unpleasant sound as uncovered by Detective London's through investigating. Sorry. There has been a real misconception, y'all. And it's being proven by this game. You think you think male dude gays are horny? Just wait until you meet the lesbians, bro. They are on a different stratosphere of horny, man. Like, it's insane. This fire escape would lead right up to the crime scene. Assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step onto it. Not only like are they like more horny, they're like also like as that like one Discord screenshot of like the just because you're a lesbian, like it doesn't make it any less pathetic. Like they are insane yearners. Assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step onto it. It's the missing ladder that connected to street level. Right. You're violating fire code with this tetanus trap on. Building inspection is not my department. Besides, if you want to climb up into a burning building. Firefighters. You're funny, Bridges. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward's property from burning down. Nat could probably make the jump up there. I can confirm this as a servile lesbian. I've seen this with every other lesbian I know. The fire escape connected to the room where the crime took place. Rusty and poorly maintained, it's missing the ladder that would normally let you climb up from the street. So one could only freely move back and forth between the third floor room, where the bodies were found, and the second floor room beneath it. Oh. Well, that's gonna be important later. Yeah, models are heavy too. Hey! Looks like the only way into the building is through the door then. Alright, I'm done back here. I think I've seen everything I... That's right. I was standing here last night when... Dark and foggy. The kid was too far off to make out my face. Aren't they? What is it, Tiger? Nothing. I thought I saw something from the corner of my eye, that's all. Yeah? Around here, maybe it was an unlisted. Wait, those are... What do you mean unlisted? Like they're Herobrine? What? The fuck's an unlisted? Keeps to themselves, obviously, but yeah, they're real. I've met some. They inform, sometimes on what they've seen. Never come in to testify, of course. You'd think they'd stand out just something like that, but if their camouflage didn't work, they wouldn't be unlisted, right? What do you mean they keep to themselves? Don't they work with any of the gangs down here? Sorry, have I gotten your hopes up or something? Trust me, you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than running into one. Right. Did I ask? Okay, so they're literally John Doe's. Oh, that's fun. Ready to go inside? I think so, as long as... No, I'm not with anyone else. It's just me here. She's shrill, princess. Delusional, you know that. I'm sure she'll catch up. So, you were saying this used to be an apartment building? Somewhere between that and a long-stay motel, yeah. Blue Bloods didn't deviate that far from the model when they took over. They call rooms like these vaults. Places to stash away a lover, witness, better when there's too much heat. You've gone through all these vaults, I take it? The scientist helped us with that. Last night. Yeah, bringing around master... Oh, scientist helped us with that last night, yeah. Bringing around master keys, clearing out every possible hiding place. Didn't find a red-handed killer hiding anywhere, did you? Or red-haired, maybe? Sorry, no. So is this the Blue Bloods' forte, then? Securing people, places, and things? You could think of it that way. Guess I would assume gangs made their money through drugs. Well, the Blue Bloods do deal here and there. But narcotics has been a rich man's game ever since the CGCA rolled in. If you have the funds to ride the Great Wave the way Asukadia does, you can make a killing. Say that again? They've got the market cornered from black to gray to white to pure green profit. The Blue Bloods hate that guy. The Blue Bloods hate that they have to make do with all the scraps the megs in the house don't bother producing en masse. Professional jealousy? How ugly. Why can't these underworld overlords just bury the hatchet, get together and screw over the consumer like we do? They've tried, if you believe the rumor. About a year ago now, there was some kind of meeting. An olive branch from from the golds to the blues. Apparently, the Blue Bloods had a product that the Ikaria wanted to distribute. The Ikaria sells legal drugs now, though. What kind of product could the Blue Bloods have now that the Ikaria couldn't manufacture? Not sure. Maybe that's why it went south so fast. Blood was spilled in less than an hour. The Ikaria aren't the type to keep negotiating after being spat on like that. Talk to it, so to speak. And so, Blue Bloods remain firmly planted in their lower wards nature. They might not like they might not like having to take the low end, but they are filling a gap in the market. That's every proper capitalist calling, right? Besides, the workers certainly appreciate their protection down here. Workers hire blue bloods for protection? But that's... all that stuff is legal, so as long as they're licensed. Huh? Legal? Yes. Respectable? Most would still say no. The household name security bags consider it too high risk to be seen in the company of workers. Oh, sex worker. Okay. Doesn't help that their average board member is 60 years old. You aren't that far from pushing yourself, are you? Matter of opinion. I don't think he was. I think you're being... Okay, well, I can't tell. Don't show me the look at age. But he's certainly not reaching 60, okay? Just like 40. Besides, I'm a very modern, forward-thinking man. You finished those 50 rosaries already? Oh. Right. And the Ikaria, they don't, compete in that market? No. People at the Ikaria's heights might patronize a courtesan or two in the cloud districts, but they'd never lower themselves to work alongside one. Hypocrites. That much I understand perfectly. Hypocrisy is the appeal for them. The rules don't apply to me. Couldn't ask for a more pure expression of power. Damn. Worse than I remember. Like a demon tore through the place. Or a devil? Seriously. What the hell happened to you? That's what we all get paid to find out, right? Yeah. I totally got a head start on the rest of you, though. Shall we bring out the arcs? Sure, I'll patch you in. Allow me? If you're needed on the phone, Miss Han, please don't let me keep you here. Nonsense. I've got all the time in the world for you. Are you sure the princess on the other phone is okay with this, Miss Han, or is this a sort of open relationship though that we're like working with? You're treating me like royalty today. What the hell? Took the words right out of my mouth. Where shall we start? How about the tall and dark mysterious in the middle here? And that's our client. He was found standing over Chopin's body by the arresting officer. Precious, right? And then he knocks Sosuke out. Correct. Why is it this artistic rendition of Sosuke and not captured from body cam? Well, it seems like at the time, our body cam was off? Seriously? Hey, I'll chew him out myself if he was here with us. It's a department policy to have all sensors screened when responding to an emergency. Yeah, on paper, but... Come on. You know how the cops are. Come on. Did all this not qualify as an emergency, then? Chopin and Rogers were responding to shots fired. That's not uncommon in this part of town. With two inexperienced officers first on the scene, it might not have come to mind. At least, Chopin could use that excuse. Rest in peace. Why'd you say it like that? But apparently Rogers requests replacement body cams nearly every week. Okay, that big book let's take away his gun once he's done throwing him a parade. I'll put in a request. Right then, who's next? That's very suspicious, to say the least. Who the hell are you, really? Why are you lying there dead right in the middle of my crime scene? That was Street Chopin, as you might guess. A patrol officer, and the son of two loving fathers. Strongly emphasized on the chief of police, due to the chief of police, their desire to see justice done. Grace wasn't exaggerating about how he died. A run through from behind with the sword. Joe would have been standing in front of the desk. He was impaled. He collapsed to the floor face first, then sword. Got stuck in the ground. Bad luck for the attacker, I suppose. Yeah, Dr. Sada's noted in the report that the stab wound was, in her words, jostled. Pardon? Like the attacker tried to pull it out, but it was stuck, so they had to jiggle it around? Hey, it's probably what saved Roger's life. Kept your client distracted and disarmed long enough to give Roger's time to rush in. Allegedly. Not where I left you, that's... Corn suspect. One thing he does recall after I passed onto him spitting his sword. Not giving me much to work. Fingertips on the grip match your client's right hand, by the way. Here I was getting my hopes up. It definitely wasn't suicide, because no one else sprints on the damn thing. I wonder if you're required to advance or not. Like once you do all the crime scene stuff. The weapon found in the crime impaled into the torso of victim chomping. It was chipped at several points, especially the that from us. Blood residue at various points of the blade matched DNA of victim Chopin, Miller, and Trey. Another murder weapon. I had to wipe my prints off before. He was indulgent trying to take Trey's head off. Wasn't mine only indulgence there. I must have gotten Miller's blood on the blade's tip when I dragged across the floor. I ruled out suicide once I saw he was stabbed in the back. Papers scattered underneath his body. I knocked him off the desk at some point. Maybe when the tall one hit the ground. Maybe when I was putting the back down on. Hang on. Hey, where's this? I can't read a word. Really? You should get that looked at. My vision's 2020. What am I looking at? Site manager. Those docs are our internal business, ma'am. Nothing where your pretty little hat over. How do you know they're internal business if you can't read them? You've really never seen Reading before? Never heard of it. It's a corporate information security protocol. Files with special flags trigger specific print commands if you try to make physical copies. Makes you use some kind of special ink. You try to take a photo of it and it comes out a bright blur. Paper's special too. Too much heat, humidity, it becomes illegible. Corpse bleeding out on top of you. It's a lot of heat and humidity. If these documents contain confidential data that the Bloods wouldn't want getting out? What are they saying in the movies? I can't confirm nor deny that. And if I subpoena the data? Do your worst. Not lawyers, too. And unlike your client, they've got all the time in the world to stall. Besides, you and I both know exactly what the Hound's motive was. And it isn't written in those pages. It's written all over his busted up face. But you won't mind if I copy down whatever I can anyway, right? I wouldn't have any legal reason to stop you. That's what you're getting at. There's required for the expansion of yeah, it's referring to the Bael participants. Freaks find with desk. In particular about it. Maybe no small part because of a crisis no mass fitting. I assume you've been through the state data pad here? Front to back, but we didn't find anything we didn't already know. Seemed like Rick was smart enough to use it for payments and nothing else. Data pad with attachment, processing non-standard identification. Also allow payment for usual rare form. That's a partial fingers only found matching those about. Matching the bills of creak and officer open. The uses have confirmed that the D-pad is locked to Creek's finger. It's difficult for anyone else to use it. Dark card is stuck quite firmly into the match card reader. Couldn't avoid touching it. Had to at least pretend to make the dark. Had to pretend the dark card breathe. How do you manage that? Even gangsters need spreadsheets. Hence the paperwork. See, scattered about. He really did everything by hand? PPP is what they call it in organized crime. Paper and pencil for protocol. Orcus keeps their books off the books. But at least in a format that's easier to destroy. Should push come to shove. You run checks on this credit card that's jammed in here? Not surprised you don't recognize it. That there's a dark card. Wow, tell me more. Wow, tell me more. It's an untraceable wallet in the palm of your hand. I would hope any wallet could fit in the palm of your hand. Really can't find the owner? Can't trace any of its transactions? Most we can tell is the datapad register calls the dark card networks at around 9:40 p.m., but it's timed out. What does that mean? The transfer didn't go through. Either someone got cold feet or they forgot their password. Happens to the best of us. By the way, why is this call being flagged? Not sure. Forensics didn't find any blood on it. Who flagged it? Lady Rockford herself. Could be that she fat thumbed it. Yeah, I'm sure it's nothing. There's a little bit of fire escape at the alley below. There's a thin thing of blood across them. I had a good guess as to who it belongs to. This is where we found Creek. The leader of the BAD. Ballistic tells us the shooter was standing in front of the desk. Near where my client was found. Your words, not mine. Nasty slug burst in his chest. Blue blood back onto the windows behind him. Open windows. Hell of a spread. Yes, it is. Did someone open these, or? No. They were open when we secured the scene. Any fingerprints? But plenty on the handles there, from Creek in his pod. That's where the handles are? Is something wrong? Definitely, but how the hell could I explain why I know that? No, sorry, I guess I'm wondering about the keys around his neck and the arcs. Oh well. One was a master key. Don't unlock any other door in the building. The other key we eventually paired to a small safe in his desk. Empty though. Suppose that's all irrelevant since he apparently died with the keys on his person. Yeah, they caught my eye too, to be honest, but not every detective's instinct pans out. So who was this guy? Curious? Only professionally. I don't care what he was before I criminal record dating as far back as it goes, sealed when he turned 18. What makes you so sure he has a juvenile record then? The more experience these guys get, the more time in between their arrests. Sorry to say. Pattern I'm seeing? He was pretty damn experienced by the time he was of age. You actually trying to compliment him? I wasn't trying to insult him, Anything you'd like to add? No, nothing I want to say in front of you two. If you want to, say a few words, the victim and I could step. Only words I have are for his killer. I'll deliver them in person, or not at all. Fair enough. Do you have any idea why someone might want to hurt this freak fellow? That's not funny. That dog you're defending? It's a fair question, Mom. Give a fair consideration. Besides the Ikuria, the rest are our city's finest? No. Riko's charismatic and driven. Plus, he made us a lot of money. No true blue would want him gone. A bloodthirsty Ikuria soldier he was interrogating, however, probably wasn't a huge fan. What about family? This is getting old fast. Younger brother's listed as next of kin. Leave his brother out of this. Hell, leave me out of this. Reading through a person like you're picking at zits. Well, seems like he's out of town anyway. Taking several lessons at How Married Are You? That's a good school. An expensive school. Younger brother has no listed occupation. Also no priors, no juvenile record. Had at this age? Had at his age? Poor kid. Pills for that cost an arm and a leg. Greek must have been sending him detective. Did you just leak the confidential medical data of a non-suspect to a third party? Hey, you don't have to report. How about I buy you an ice cream or something? Bribery too? You're digging yourself pretty deep. Still bribery from the if I'm the official? Yeah. He made a strange face when I shot him, and a loud slam when he hit the floor. This one. Real long rap sheet. With a short ending. Buckshot at the torso. Died instantly. Flex around his mouth put the time of death at 9:44 p.m. Held by his own weapon. That comes up a bit short of poetic justice. It doesn't look like he was in any kind of struggle for it beforehand. But how'd someone manage to get it off his hands? It wasn't any great feat, I assure you. Next identified it as the double-barreled Mag US, and hey, how'd you know the gun was his? Still wearing the holster in the arcs. Was I mistaken? No. About a week ago, tanks here was stopped and frisked by a patrol unit. And they found this here gun on him. They found this gun on him, and they just handed it back to him? He bought and paid for it above board. So this gun isn't jailbroken? You have tag data from the murders. No, we don't. Strange. According to the text, the gun is jailbroken. What happened between the last week and last night that he got the tag stripped off? Something that made him think this piece would see action soon. Okay. Screen. I turned on to distract tanks long enough to grab his gun. I remember choosing not to turn it back off. Interesting setup. Powerful setup. It was blaring when we arrived. The sound system, I mean. One of the CS texts is a real audio file. It said it broke her heart how loud they must have relayed the speakers all the time. Where's it out, she said. I wouldn't count on orcas to value the longevity of their technologies. Blood loss from the neck. Even I can tell that much. Stabbed with a bladed weapon right near the carotid artery. Very efficient. Not the kind of kill someone could make without prior experience. My client's a humble bodyguard. Come on now. I know you've got a job to do, but you'll shame him if you don't let him take credit for this one. Miller was no joke in a fight. Take him out with one clean stab to the neck using his Sona? Al must be itching to brag about it. I'll defer to the medical examiner on this matter. Much. Well, as a plus, the hack job of the sword could probably be a plus to him. What do you mean? Santos had said the same thing. On to the neck, in not so many words. Is Miller's blood even on the katana? Even if it is, why would a medical examiner assume the katana was used here when my knife is a much better fit for the knife? Where is it? Where? I gave Sosuke the knife before I left. It should have been found on him when you arrested. It should be somewhere in the arcs. Looking for something, Tiger? If they haven't found the knife, and I asked about it anyway, without me admitting it, I know it's missing. If I tell them Sosuke mentioned a knife only the killer would know about, I'd be ruining my case before you even enter the courtroom. Of course, pointing out the police in the direction of the knife's real origin. No, I just... Didn't he find my client's person when he was arrested? Besides a gun, a sword, and a bunch of blood that didn't belong to him? No. Not even any lint in his pockets. What do you ask? No reason. Sometimes you gotta shake the tree to see what falls out. Just so they say. Oh, you were blindly guessing. I've been there. Something must have happened with that knife. It couldn't have just disappeared. Not from a crime scene locked down like this. I'll need to find it, but I can't just go looking for it. So what it feels like to play with a handicap? I'd advise you to brace yourself before opening the autopsy file. Autopsy photos for this one, counselor. Yes, this is sufficiently obfuscated. A lot to take in. The skull was crushed? Yes, but the cause of death was blood loss from a laceration across the neck. He hit the floor and bled out in seconds. Everything else you're seeing is post-mortem. Overkill. Not the words I use for this kind of shit. Oh, calm down. I didn't do it for the fun of it. In this specific instance. This victim had modded eyes. It seems like to me someone just didn't want to take any chances. Bullshit. No one in the lower wards would get optic mods with recording functionality. You wouldn't be welcome anywhere. You gonna claim that Hana Bikaria didn't know something that fundamental? Nah. He bashed his brains in for the fun of it. Sure to a law-abiding citizen like yourself. We're all scum of the earth who deserve. I'm pretty scummy myself, hon. Defense attorney. Remember? Tuh. I don't deserve shit like this. Deserves? That have to do with anything. I take it that this bat is what the deed. I have some splinters found inside his wounds if you had any doubts. Nothing about here about Sosuke's fingerprints. You think we get anything but parcels off of that? Practically splinters. Makes sense. I was the one who actually swung it down, and I was wearing gloves by then. Whoever did this, they were damn enthusiastic. Now how hard they'd have to swing to crush the skull? To break the bat itself? I can't imagine. Some faint blood that's been smeared here. It belongs to this victim? And Sosuke. I wonder if maybe the bodies hadn't got moved around for some reason, but... Plank's legs and feet were soaked in the other's blood when he was arrested. He would have had to sneak up on Copen in order to stab him in the back. You think he slid his feet across the ground to avoid making noise? Does he say otherwise? I'll let you keep guessing on that one. Yeah, advance, for sure. I'll do the thing. Through the stores where they keep is where they're keeping Sosuke. Where I let him off the leash. I'll leave that for after I finish you. Oh, never mind. I guess we do just advance. That's about everything, right? Sure. Making sure. Making sure. Sure. Okay. Looks like that's everything in here. I don't envy either of your workloads. It's a mess in here. It's a lot of blood, that's for sure. I'm surprised you haven't gotten nauseous, miss. I'd be right at home here if you all were poking your noses around. Shoot, I just remembered. I'll never hear the end of it if I don't check in with my partner after saying I would. You to keep you to you to keep you to keep going if I step out to make a call? A call? Is your partner your mom? And is your mom blind? What kind of text? Thanks for your understanding. Maybe he was the one with the weak stomach. You be sure to let me know if you're feeling faint. I can keep going. We're nearly finished anyway. I'd stick to the arts if I were you. Nothing behind that door that's better seen in person. It's been such a gracious open to why the cold feet now? It's ugly in there. Uglier than this? Different kind of ugly then. Only eye of the beholder. I warned you. Don't worry. I can stomach it just fine. So long as I can understand it. But I creeps pod to my client. I don't know that they did. Polsky told me they electrocuted him on. They probably just grounded him. Come on, that's... Where would that pass, Han? Low grade current supplied every few minutes. Stops most mods from reading. No SOS pings, no adrenaline bursts pulled out of his ass. And the pliers, hamsters, and what purpose did they serve? They just killed Sosuke when they failed to nab Makoto. That they tracked him down here. Why? Try and get info on Makoto's itinerary. Kidnap intel to another one. At him? There are any answers for me here. I'll need a ground scraper to find them. Water. Hold up the concentrations on the outside of the bucket. Is that water for sponge baths? This is a simple way to keep the guests from dozing off. Well, that's nice. I appreciate that. Temperature shock makes caffeine look like a sleep aid. Just coming after you claim you don't know if Sosuke was tortured? You know what the other bucket's for then? I know you said you've got a weak sense of smell, but do you really need a hint here? But then this last bucket here is... What is that? Trash? Cloth and rope. Bindings. Or bandages. See? They were nursing you back to health. I'll wonder your theory past Sosuke next chance I get. It's mostly what's left of what they were keeping Sosuke tied up with. They would have to use something, yeah. The store doesn't even lock. Not if we remove the bar. Not if we remove the bat barring it from the outside. But it was brought here. Ida. Question. Then he breaks out, bursts into the next room, cuts up 2 of his captors and blows the other 2 away. That's what you think happened? That's what it looks like. And then what? Brooklyn runs in and turns his back on a violent criminal? Don't strain yourself trying to make it sound improbable. Cops are done. The Hound crouched in a corner, he'd have his chance to... Hell, probably just played dead. Watching that scene out there, you think some patrol officer would go around taking pulses? Why go to all that trouble to jump on an officer? Why not just run away? why not ask him for medical treatment? Because he was standing in the middle of the four men he just killed? I know that Sosuke had no logical reason to Chopin, but so what? Even Sosuke himself says he would have been acting on instinct. Instinct telling that Chopin was in between him and his escape? Has all this blood been tested on? Enough of it has. But besides Sosuke, who else would it belong to? It's a bit lazy, but it's not as if there's more here than the last time I visited. Really did lose a lot. By the time he stumbled out of here, the free should have been enough to knock it over. He's really such a badass that he still managed to take out a police officer for this? I feel nothing looking at someone else's handiwork. A product of their violence. It's like an artificial sweetener. No complaints for that first instant. Then the aftertaste comes. Empty calories. I'll just be hungrier again later. Faster. Let's stay disciplined. Hypodermic needles. Probably not packing anything healthy. Healthy? Supposed to be better hope they were at least sanitized. I'm not sure Sarah can treat an infection with a gauze or rubbing alcohol alone. But those needles there? The design of these needles seem a little odd. Well, someone will tell you sooner or later, so. They're projectiles. Load them to a gun and fire away. Sosuke was captured by men wielding guns. Does Sona security have any piece that they'd like to disclose as having recently gone missing? They're cursing up the wrong pike. Reed could find was all on his own, and we're not that kind of operation. An operation where the right hand doesn't know what the left's doing? More like the right hand's just been washed, so if you have to handle some garbage, Sinus is that legitimate? Why aren't all the Blue Bloods working legal jobs then? Not enough positions available. You gotta earn like hell you consider for a job on the side of the fence. We could just spot we're bringing in that kind of money? They like Creek's pod where it was. Who's they? Upper management? A massive death sentence crafted specifically for one very special customer. Yeah. And did upper management like Creek? I'm just a humble site manager, miss. I wouldn't know. Sure. So do all these needles contain anesthetics? No, there's also stimulants and barbitazine. Oh, okay, so it's like the... Yeah, truth serum, okay. Like the truth serum. You can get sued for selling it as such. It makes you talk. Doesn't make you say... Doesn't make you... It doesn't make what you say the truth. So they want Sosuke talking. What did they ask him? If a client can't remember or isn't willing to recall, there's really no one else alive who would know, yeah? Getting a headache, but it's not from anything sensory. You know more about this crime scene than anyone. Why can't I piece it together? Like, if I can't piece it together, Pops will never trace any of this back to me, right? But I feel so ill at ease. Okay, thanks for your patience, ladies. Did I miss anything? Nah. Oh. You felt better if you had? I'm gonna head out now, actually. I've got a long day tomorrow. Going back by yourself, then? Are you sure? I could get you a ride out of the neighborhood. I'm sure Miss Han here has already made sure that we'll both get out of here without any trouble. That is her company's area of expertise, isn't it? Of course. Well, at least let me walk you out. Sure, why not? Safe travels. Hmm. So, detective, there's something you didn't want to talk about in front of the professionals assigned to security? Thanks for picking up on that. First, we accept that you never checked in. Yeah, right after this I will. This room. Are we currently underneath the crime scene? Yep. Same fire escape right there. Same type of window too. Has this room been scanned into the arcs? Yeah, but no one found anything noteworthy. Except scientists being sloppy. So what were you actually doing when you left Han and I back there? Something Han said earlier about how no true blue would wish harm on Creek. Her phrasing stood out to me. This implies the existence of false blue bloods? This reminded me of the first things I learned in the city. There are no monoliths. Megs, Orcus, City Hall, there are always factions. And among the blue bloods, the party lines are especially visible. So I made a call, not to raise, and confirm some things. And I figured I owe you a little hint or two, considering the tone of the last message I delivered. That message warned me not to broaden the scope of my investigation. Getting into it might be self-defeating. Not these sense. Trust them. So what faction did our pal Creek belong to? The Young Bloods, opposite of the Old Guard. Conservative blue bloods in the leadership. All of them older than 70, some of them pushing higher than 90. Han said Creek was too useful for anyone to want dead, but my sources don't agree. Creek talk. Said things aloud that others only whispered. Ambitious, charismatic, up and coming, and young. You just see him being very unpopular with all these wrong people in the Old Guard. That's just doing info detective, but doesn't exactly flip this case on its head. I already know who killed Creek. Police have already decided it's Sosuke. Learning that he has some occupational hazard will hardly convince the jury otherwise. My client's the one standing accused, and everyone already knows why the Blue Bloods and the Eco Kids would want to kill each other. Do you? They're rival gangs. They hate each other. You know why? It's the same reason all the Blue Blood leadership is ancient, while other muscles made up of orphans and delinquents. 30 years ago, the Yakuza betrayed their peace with the Blue Bloods, started killing them. They didn't stop for days. By the end of it, every single member of the leading Blue Blood families were under the age of 40 was dead. Well, I can see how their kids would grow up to hate the Yakuza, yeah. You're not getting it, Tiger. Your kids didn't grow up at all. If that's the case, how are the Blue Bloods still around? For one thing, the Yakuza had bigger fish to fry. This was right before the Red Decade. They spent every second of the next 10 years positioning themselves so they could come out the other end as a new ability. Second, whoever made the Blue Bloods found a new niche to fill. Taking in delinquents at a furious at a country driven off a cliff by adults before they could even get a chance to vote. Blue Bloods swelled their ranks to new heights by looking out for the little guys during those years, in exchange for favors down the line. Lastly, and most importantly, they survived because they still had hope. Are you serious? I am. It's a powerful weapon. Hope for what? Hope that the Yakuza had missed one, that they fled the country. Hope that a promised heir would grow strong in return one day. A triumphant little lord, overflowing riches and overwhelming power. Sounds like a fairy tale. Those endure for a reason. Well, now you know. A warning to watch where you step isn't exactly worth much if you're falling around the dark. Fairy tales a warning. What's up? Hey. Did you or your pals know you ever hear about some kind of blue blood hunter? Like a bounty hunter? Or huntsman, maybe? Where'd you hear that? Sosuke thinks he might have overheard talk of something like that while he was in captivity. Does it mean anything? Nope. like the hesitation there, Detective. Just an urban legend. Had us said the same thing about Elizabeth before this afternoon, and yet... Fair enough. If I see a huntsman and look to tell the tale, I'll buy you as many loud of things as you want. Hey, you ever pay attention to any of this graffiti down here? Drawings about Lobo and the cyberpunk and... Hey, HBK increasingly. I haven't seen that myself. I was gonna say Red Hood. Why are you asking? Feel chill down your spine? Except for HBK, that's all old news. Ghost stories and campfire tales. There are a lot of campsites around here? Lots of places start fires. For Red Hood. I haven't heard that in who knows how long. One of the oldest. Rough story. It's based on a real event? Nothing worth recounting. I'll take your word for it. What's gotten into you that you're feeling all superstitious? Guilty conscience? You mean about work with the mafia? Psychologists would call that projecting. Oh, Morgan. Ouch. Too far? No. Didn't feel a thing. I don't know why I asked, really. Guess I just had an odd feeling all day. Like deja vu? Been here before? No. I hate that feeling. It's whatever the opposite of that would be. You get a nerving certainty that you are in uncharted waters. Scary stuff. Iguria. Blue blood. Mex. Orcas. Dirty cops and criminal informants. Iron straw back and forth battlefield like spider suspension bridge. Dizzying in its complexity, frail along any given strand. But one wrong move and you're completely ensnared. Priorities. The Iguria don't care about who tore through the gang. They would prefer Sosuke doesn't spend life in prison for killing a cop. The Blue Bloods want to tear Sosuke's throat out, but Han's taken at her word. They're settling for 5 counts of murder. Can I take Han at her word? Is she a young blood like Creek, or is she with the old guard? Could I have asked London that? If I had, could I have a true answer? Because it turns out Kasim London is much harder to read than I anticipated. I can't even trust my client to act in his own self-interest. The man's a bodyguard by trade and a zealot for his house. Trial starts tomorrow. I still need more information. Is there time to find it? What I need right now is nightcap. I can't fall asleep, and I know I'm in trouble. Until then, the sleep will have to wait. Unlocked. Pardon me for dropping in at such a late hour, Council Morgan. Stand there in my doorway, cut through the light, like a blade of spilled ink. But twice as sharp and not nearly as familiar. It is outside of normal conversation hours, miss. She purses her lips, like lily petals shining away from the moonlight. Smirk by any other name. Please, call me Mira. Any last name? Mira? The question floats in the air like curling cigarette smoke. I could tell she was used to the smell. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Self-assured and unapologetic. The unspoken family name, loud as a signature. Written in blood. You're from House Ikaria. What's with the... Might I step inside? He blanks. Her head turns a millimeter. Forked tongue testing the temperature of the air. He wasn't asking for permission. Just you? What about your friends in the hallway? There isn't that rare, but keeps staring at the floor. Surprised by my perception of the unseen threat. But not quite impressed. I don't think they needed you. You? It was the kind of woman to make you remember. Smoking could kill. Oh. Representative? Like sipping alcohol, rubbing alcohol. What? Arachnids. This like sunrises, black tea, and photographers. Favorite smell? Dojo floor. The best at making use of people, the worst at hiding my distaste. Yeah, clearly. How can I be of service? Right? You're already being quite accommodating. Both to me. And my family's interests. I came here tonight only to be of service to you. I understand that you're somewhat new to this underworld of ours. I'm grateful for the offer, Mira. But inexperienced as I am, I've gathered that House Ikaria didn't come into its fortune by being generous. Would you like to know how House Ikaria did come into its fortune? I know you operate a lending corporation with a significantly diversified portfolio. Yes, the good old IF2. The public face of the Ikaria criminal empire, clean-shaven as it's become. I know you founded a pharmaceutical company and profited immensely when it went public. And before that, I know your family became new ability during the years of unrest. No doubt about being well positioned when the time came to reprioritize our nation's industry. Yes. Before that, I know you slaughtered the Blue Blood 30 years ago. Very good, Council. You've acclimated to our waters remarkably fast. What I don't know is why Makoto Ikaria has been the target of multiple kidnapping attempts over the past year. Can't fathom the guess as to why the Blue Bloods might want to ransom the family's heir. That's the only guess I can make. Strikes me as shallow. Nothing more dangerous than waters you don't know the depth of. As you said, 30 years ago, the Ikaria cartel, an unrecognizable band of brutes and drug smugglers compared to today, massacred their respectable Blue Bloods and left their geriatric leadership to die on the vine. But we thrust a knife deeper, much deeper than that. You went after the heirs? And their entire future. Are you familiar with the genetic factor authentication? The what now? Using DNA as a password. Blood, specifically. Easier than memorizing a string 3 billion characters long. But GFA's fallen out of favor, hasn't it? I mean, I don't believe it. The Blue Bloods made ample use of it back then. A bad bet? They already had all their offshore accounts, business titles, property deals. The Blue Bloods thought they had already won, that they were establishing a dynasty. So as they made their political marriages, they bound their alliances and fortunes in literal blood. GFA was both a financial and symbolic laundering of the Blue Bloods' past. They were children, now married, clean-cut and perfectly respectable, but prosper alongside wealth no longer tainted by ill-gotten gains. So the GFA registry became the Ikaria's checklist. We went through and crossed out anyone that could have accessed those funds. Now all of it sits untouchable overseas in encrypted digital warehouses in some of the oldest, most austere banks in the world, collecting interest that will never be claimed. Does that answer your question as to why I target Makoto? No, and you know it doesn't. Because if they thought that they could lock you out of your coffers by killing Makoto, they wouldn't be trying to take him alive. You're paying attention. I like that. But we don't use GFA. And Makoto is the heir to House Ikaria, to the Ikaria financial group. He'd never be tied to our legitimate banking information. Why not? What if he wants to buy a lollipop? A lollipop will be provided for him. The family's black market proceeds, and its white market holdings must never mix. You divide your house right down the middle? Pardon the expression, but how can you stand? Atop the backs of many. And you all take this division that seriously? Deadly seriously. That is our family's rule, dating back centuries. Either you serve the house or you serve its interests. Never both. So you're assigned to either the criminal organization, which is registered as the IFG, or to managing the family's legitimate business holdings like friendship. But that means you are nearly as much of an outsider to the Ikuria financial group as you are. Nearly is doing a lot of work there. Who do you answer to then? Who controls the Ikuria's legitimate empire? Until Makoto marries his mother. And I take it Makoto isn't solely responsible for the house's affairs at his age? Makoto wields great authority as the heir, but yes, the house is led by his father Raphael, and more directly, by his grandfather, our patriarch Daisuke Ikuria. What's good for a grandfather? Not gonna lie. I see. But that puts me back where I started. The Blue Bloods want to hold Makoto hostage to gain leverage on the likes of Daisuke. How can I put this? Had things gone even slightly different 30 years ago, the Blue Bloods would be ones shaking with hands with politicians, marrying ambassadors and sitting in boardrooms. Some of them believe it can still be so, if the right match were made. They want to marry into the house into House Ikuria? Makoto's and all the real Blue Bloods are older than they find an age-appropriate adoption. You're missing the point. They need Makoto alive and well to negotiate that kind of reversal of fortune. They've been trying to capture him for the past year. But every Blue Blood I've met today seem to care a lot more about getting revenge for their dead than kidnapping a preteen. How many of them do you think Sosuke's cut down in the last year he spent repelling their attempts? Is that a source of internal conflict? The old guard are throwing young bloods into an Ikuria shredder en masse, trying to capture Makoto just to elevate themselves. I suppose that all might total up to enough motivation for them to torture Sosuke. Yeah. I had heard Sosuke was wounded. No one informed me that he had been tortured. Know him, I take it? As you've gathered, Sosuke deals in matters unrelated to my side. But he is still family. Speaking of my side, I have a duty as a representative of my wing to the house to stress that we do not want this trial to be prolonged. So the bean counters don't care for the extra attention. Makes sense. You care about the outcome? A win is always preferable, but not a necessity. Makoto Ikuria hired me to prove Sosuke's innocence. If he's the one signing the checks, did he say why he hired you? He hired you for 2 reasons. Reason 1, his options are limited. More limited than he suggested, no doubt. Keep a strong front. The entire house is currently being audited by the state. Our usual legion of lawyers and accountants are already billing hours as fast as they can, so he wouldn't have his pick of the litter. So one half of the family can't talk business at the dinner table with the other half, but you share a pool of lawyers? Lawyers can be trusted to be discreet, can they not? Yeah, we can read between the lines. So then you'll understand reason 2. Whatever lawyer he did find through the Ikuria's usual connections would, like me, do whatever's best for the house as a whole. But not what's best for Sosuke. Make an amendment. 3 reasons. Makoto knew that if he didn't assign him any lawyer, Sosuke would just stay silent as the state dragged him off to be chained, rather than inconvenience the house any further. Well, yeah. I've known Sosuke for less than a day, and even I can tell he's never seen a cross he wouldn't jump at the opportunity to wear. That explains why Makoto would hire someone without any connections to the Ikuria. You're slowly rolling another addendum that'll clear up on why on earth my name came across his desk? Little with crayons and timetables, I'm sure. I hope I've been able to elucidate matters for you, Counselor Morgan. Masterfully subtle way to say we're done talking. Now I might ask you a small favor in return. Pass this message to Sosuke. If you see your way out, take it. Do you understand what you're asking him to do? Even if Sosuke took a plea bargain, even if I somehow got the other charges reduced to manslaughter or self-defense, the state thinks he killed a cop. The message is for Sosuke, not you. Your interpretation of it is irrelevant. End of conversation. Wow, that's brutal. As she reaches for the exit, she turns back to look at me, lingering in the doorway, like the warm buzz of a strong, dark cocktail. But your assessment is correct. If this were just for dead blue bloods, our dim little underworld could balance out the ledger unassisted. If that cop hadn't shown up last night. You know something with the late Officer Chopin? Sitting in mourning after death of the city's councilman's beloved adoptive son in the line of duty. All I know is that his funeral dirge will make those 4 boys' deaths sound like a disinterested sigh. By the way, I must admit you have a lovely apartment, counselor. Treating subjects as subtly as a bullet train hopping his tracks. Yeah, that was... Are you gonna make the pin drop again, Mira, or what? Quite spacious for a defense attorney. Yeah, the place wouldn't sell after the train mark got diverted. I negotiated down the red and then installed all the soundproofing myself. Can't open the windows without being treated the sounds of the city then. It was always a cost. That's one mystery solved then, isn't it? Enjoy the rest of your quiet evening, counselor. The door glides to a close behind her. Easy as a question left unasked. Unless you're hanging on a single held breath of stillness. Listening as the deafened thud of her honor guards implied violent stomps down the hallway behind her. That was nice. I was still leaned back in my chair, staring holes into my ceiling long after the scent of her expensive tobacco faded into the null. Staring her while it lasted was beyond me at the moment. My attention's elsewhere. The case is not untwisted like a gnarled oak. I might think I found my rhythm. The blade runs dull. Carving is an exercise in patience and vision. Don't talk to me about carving. Especially wood carving, please. You need to start with a clear picture of what you want. I want some answers. But for now, I'll sleep. Tomorrow in court, I'll just have to keep whittling away at the wood. No! You did talk about wood. God damn it. Until I fashion something halfway usable. And, well, if that doesn't work, I'll use a chainsaw. Yeah, if we are time skipping to the next day now. Hey, cool kid. Yes, you trying to act all stoic staring out the window. A little late to try and look attached with that thing you pulled the other day. That wasn't a joke? Making that announcement from the class? You trying to start a detective club or something? What mysteries? Disappearing cleaning supplies? Books not getting returned to the library? Sounds lame. Well, not like that's your fault. Everything's lame. Good luck finding members. Everyone around here already knows what they're going to do after school. And tomorrow, and next year. They're all staring down the barrel of a lucrative career and telling other companies how to provide web services or whatever the school's supposed to train us for. A lawyer? If you say so, cool kid. The bugs will probably have robots doing that by the time you graduate, but sure. Law school's supposed to be hard to get into. You'll need a record that doesn't suck. Getting the club you start shut down because you couldn't get anyone to join probably won't help. Wow, so confident. You really are a cool kid. Ominous. To say the least. Okay. So now that we are beginning the trial part. Okay, sorry, Morgan, please. This is... Pulse and relax. This will be over soon. I thought you were joking about the makeup. Of course I wasn't joking. A case like yours is invaluable in the courtroom. You think cover beating concealer and blush and applying liner will help me appeal to what demographic exactly? Me! You know the names of all this stuff? I'm a modern man. I know the names of many things, including makeup. Is that your eyebrow gel? Yes? It's cakey. Do you want me to do the rest? Sorry, do you want to do the rest? I feel like that's a good place to end it there, then. If I'd saved it at the scene start there, that would have made it so insanely ominous. But I'm glad they were at least, like, on pace right now. How long did we stream? I mean, for like an hour or so. Or like an hour or two, but not the worst thing ever. I'm still very much happy of the progress that we've made. Hopefully tomorrow I won't be as fried as I am now. Let's save again just to make sure. And yeah. I'll be back tomorrow for some more of the devil. I hope to see you all next time. Peace. Oh, when did I disappear? Hopefully not permanently. Wow. Bye!